Well, good afternoon. My name's Rob Vanderwood, and I'm the mayor of West Haven, and we're going to open our meeting here for our West Haven City Council meeting. Today is Wednesday, October 16th. It's 6:02, and we're ready to get started. We want to thank everyone for being here. We appreciate Lieutenant Lavely from the Weber County Sheriff's being here, and we also need to as you can see up here on the dais, we're a little lacking on folks, so we want to excuse two of our council members, Councilmember Dixon and Councilmember Swap, and we have Councilmember Call on our Zoom meeting. So we have a quorum today, so that we're ready to go. So we're going to move forward with that. We'll get started with our Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to have that by Councilmember Morse, and our prayer or moment of silence with Councilmember Saunders.
Please rise and repeat the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we come before Thee this evening and give thanks for the many blessings that we have. We're so grateful that we live in this beautiful area. We're so grateful for the mountains and the area that we live in and the people that live here. We're grateful for all that we have and the abundance that we enjoy. At this time in this month, as we remember and some of the victims of recent domestic violence, and as it is the month of domestic violence awareness, we plead for those who have been victims or related to those acts that they may receive comfort, and we also acknowledge those who serve to protect us, and we pray that Thou will bless them and bless their families as they go about protecting the citizens of this city. We ask a blessing to be with us as we meet together, that we will make the best decisions that we can for the residents and for all involved in the city. We're grateful for those who serve the city in any capacity, and pray that Thou will bless them. And we say these things in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Councilmember Morris and Councilmember Saunders. Appreciate that very much. We'll move on to item number 3 on here, our public presentation. Residents attending this meeting will be allotted 2 minutes to express a concern or ask a question about any issue that is not on the agenda. No action can or will be taken on any issue that is presented. Is there anyone that would like to come up at this time? Okay. Just please state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Daniel Winter. I live at 3518 West, 4300 South, West Haven, Utah. I've been a resident of West Haven for 25 years. Today, I just come to talk about, I don't come very often, so I don't bug you guys too often. But I came here 15 years ago, and I seen some things that weren't right, and you guys did fix it. So today I would like to request on, I live at 3518 West, so and 4300. So 4300 is a busier street over here. It was cul-de-sac at the far end. What I'm requesting is, I'm the one that got it from 45 down to 35 15 years ago with Scott. I would request, everybody does 5 to 10 miles an hour over, and everybody knows that. So what I'm requesting is, it's not a through street anymore. Scott couldn't make it any slower than that at the time because it was a through road. They've cul-de-saced it now. And now it's got the crosswalk with the cross guards. It has all that. So what I'm requesting is at least bring it down to 30 or 25 miles an hour for safety. This is safety. And people on that road do 55. I've actually got behind them, went the speed limit, and they just pull away like I'm sitting still. So I've done research, I videoed it, I've done all that, but you don't need to see that. All I'm asking is, I'm requesting if you guys could just lower that speed limit there. And it would just help for safety. I don't want nobody coming through my fence at 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour in a residential hitting my kids, my grandkids, okay? That's my request on that one. And then the next one is right at 3,600 and 4,300, I would like to request another stop sign. I'm the one that got the stop sign a block down further. What it is a lot of people use my road as a cut-through road. I've actually followed people all the way through my deal, and they drop down through the school and keep going way out. So they'll use my road as the cut-through road. It's one of the best roads to cut through, 3,500. You guys know it. I mean, down to the school, everything. The school buses fly down at 2. The cops have actually pulled over the school buses and had to tell them to slow down. They didn't write them a ticket, but they had to tell them to slow down. So all I'm doing is requesting is a 4-way stop or a 2-way stop, just to make everybody coming up the 4,300 to have to stop at 36, at least to slow down before they extend again. And it is a through road now. It used to be a dead end, but it goes over the canal now. So Scott told me they couldn't do it because it was a dead end road area. I don't know why at the time, but now it is a through road now. And so now I hope they can at least put another stop sign. I don't think it's gonna hurt nothing, it's just for safety, it's gonna slow people down.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and I have a little map if you need to look at that or something, but those are just my requests, and I wanna thank the city for the things they do. All right,
Okay, thank you
Thanks.
very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Did you get all the addresses and,
No, I didn't.
okay,
I can help you with that. I just pulled it up on a map, so, or,
That'd be great.
I know,
appreciate you listening to me.
I know when we get up here, we get talking so fast that we don't have time to write it all down. So if you've got
I was-
that, we'll look at it.
Okay, here's the 35, sir. So this is where I live. I live on the corner. I live across from Nasser.
I know
So
exactly
everybody
where you
should
live.
just give me a bonus.
I know exactly where you live.
I have to deal with that dirty, nasty yard every day, so. Yeah, so I should get a bonus hit. Here's 35. Okay, this is where I'd like to slow the speed limit down. And it's at 42. I live at 43 here. I mean,
He lives on
I
that
live at
corner.
30 I live at 3518, 4300 south.
And then he's talking about the intersection that's just west of him as
I
well.
got that one on here perfect for you. So it's just the intersection. I'd like a 4-way stop.
Okay. Yeah, I think I could see.
Here's my notes. They're crappy, but at least.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll,
Sounds good.
we
Thanks,
can get in
guys.
touch with you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else that'd like to come forward? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move forward with that. Oh, that was a little squeak. All right, let's go to our upcoming events. We have our senior lunch bunch that'll be on October 23rd at 11:30 a.m. If we have anyone that would like to attend that as well, please let me know.
It's a what?
I'm sorry?
I couldn't hear you.
It's a senior lunch bunch event that we have a senior luncheon.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's on October 23rd at 11:30 over at the community center in the Green Farms. It's now called the Barn. That's what we call it now. And then the other item on here is our dumpster days is October 24th and through the 26th. Everyone looks forward to that. That's for our residents to get rid of some of the trash they have. We'll have dumpster in the parking lot, and then our green trash will go over by the arena. Then we have the pumpkin walk for the kids and grandkids on October 28th, and that is at 6:30 p.m. and goes till 8 o'clock. We have our Wasatch Choice Fall Workshop is October 30th, and that will be at the Roy Municipal Center, and we're looking forward to that as well. We also, it's not listed on our agenda, but we do have our Heart of the Holidays coming up as well. It's our lighting celebration, and that's always fun for the kids. We have Santa lighting of the building here, and I believe that is December 2nd,
I believe so too.
and that'll start at 6 o'clock. It's dark by then, and Santa's ready to visit us then, so that'll be another event coming up here. Anything else on upcoming events from the council? Okay. We'll move on to item 5, our council updates. Does the council have any updates they'd like to share with the public?
Just the beautification committee's been actively working on getting out an award. We've picked a couple of yards for the month of October, the scariest kind of spooky yards. So we're giving out a couple of certificates again, and then in November we'll kind of do more of a fall harvest type thing, and then probably wrap it up with kind of Christmas, the best Christmas decorations like we did last year. So just something to be aware of and look for on social media. Some of the winners will be coming out pretty quick. So
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
None for me.
Councilmember Call? Can you hear us? Councilmember Call? We're not getting audio.
It shows she's unmuted.
I want to make sure because we've got a minimal group here, so she can vote. Anyway, while we're getting that fixed up, if you do get audio back, just give us a holler. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have anything?
I don't.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. We also had we had a couple of ribbon cuttings this week, opening up our new businesses on 4,000. One of them is Burley Burgers. They've been open for about a week or so. It's really, really great food. We're glad to have them here. And the other one, do you remember the name on the other one? It was Love.
Loves coffee cakes?
It's Love's, or anyway, I apologize, I just forgot. But it's Love's, and they're a coffee cake place, and they are really great. They're right next to Burley Burger, and they work together a lot. They're a really great group. But we'll have those out on social media more, and we're excited to have new businesses coming in.
I just looked it up. It's Just Love Coffee Cafe.
Thank you. That's the one. So thanks for that. And also, as a council, we'll be trying to meet between October and November. We'll be looking at and reviewing our city council assignments with the council members and holding kind of our one-on-one discussions like we do every year, and see if there's anything else we need to do within the city. So just be aware of that, council, and we'll be making arrangements for those, meeting up with you. Anything else from anybody? Okay, we'll move on to item 6, our action on consent agenda. I think this is the shortest one we've ever had on
I've
here.
never seen a shorter one.
Item A for our action on consent agenda is our city council minutes meeting held October 2nd of 2024. That's all we have on our consent agenda for a change. So do you have any questions on that or any changes on the review? Okay.
I'll move to approve the
Okay.
action on consent agenda for the city council minutes held October 2nd, 2024.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any further recommendations or comments or questions from the council? Okay, we'll do the roll call on this. Councilmember Saunders,
Aye.
Councilmember Morse,
Aye.
and Councilmember Call.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to item 7, our presentation. This is by our city manager, Mr. Sean Warnke, and he'll give us our quarterly financial audit report. Warnke?
Great, thank you, Mayor and Council. It's a pleasure to present to you the audited financial report for the first quarter of fiscal year 2025. And I would draw your attention to the staff report that outlines those expenditures. As you know, these expenditures fall between $10,000 and $50,000, which the city manager position is authorized to expend. Anything over the $50,000, as you know, comes to you specifically on a council agenda. So this is for your review to see some of those expenses that have occurred during that during this first quarter, and they are some of the reoccurring expenses associated with solid waste, whether it be payment to our contractor to collect, or whether it be to Weber County. The tipping fees, I believe, are on here too. And we have the Weber County Animal Services for another example.
I think I've asked this before, but on like animal services, why is there two different charges, two different
There's-
amounts for the same dates?
There's one that's for shelter services, and then there's one for animal control services, I believe. I think there's two different functions that they provide, and some cities contract for both, and some
Just
only
have one?
contract for one.
Okay.
Also noted in this quarter, some acquisitions associated with some road projects, and those expenses are shown as well. And that's all I have unless there's
Okay.
specific questions.
Thank you. And I do think it would be appropriate too to point out too on here, we did have some camera purchases. I think it's good for just the security that we have of our building and so forth. So we do have some security cameras that are placed around the building that will help us to monitor any activity and things that are going on within and around the building itself. And we have that over at the community center or the barn at the Green Farms. When we do leasing and so forth, that we have that available to just review and make sure that we cut down on any concerns or issues with people damaging things. So
Do we have anything over like at the parks, like just that issue that came up in the
There's
meeting
some
made me
at
think
the
of that.
sports park, I know that.
we do have some.
There is a thought, and we'll talk about it during budget season, to potentially add more capabilities throughout our park, especially since the Utopia fiber network is available. And so, so we'll be discussing it to try to get more of that capability throughout our park system.
And that's probably for protection of the huts too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fiber optics are all set up. There's 4 huts, I believe, in the city, in our park areas mainly. One's here at the city building, but those will help us if someone decided to try and do some damage to our system on that. That would be at least on camera. So anyway, thank you. I appreciate you getting that. Does the council have any questions on any of the details of our audit report? Okay. Seeing none on here, we'll move on to our next item on here, which is our action on Planning Commission meeting recommendations. And with that, we have our action on Resolution 42-2024, amending the Planning Commission policies and procedures. Is that for you? Okay.
When I started the whole interim city planner fun, when some of the we'd gone through a couple of the policies and procedures and realized that staff needed to make some of these adjustments to help make the meeting run more smoothly. And one of them had to do with the who was going to present the topic. We were moving it so it's just like city council, that staff presents the topic, and then planning commission, can ask any questions just like you guys do. Having the chairperson of planning commission identify how each member voted after each vote. Robin was having a hard time distinguishing between who was, for making the motion and seconding it, and so that helps with that clarity. Changing planning director to community development director or designee, since we don't have a planning director, and then moving the submission deadlines to 15 days instead of 14, just to give staff an additional day to be able to circulate the information that is brought in, to make sure that we have a complete application, because there's been a number of times where incomplete applications have been going to planning commission, and we would like to try to curtail that so that there's cutting down on conditions, for approval. Next meeting on the 23rd, so next week, the Planning Commission had asked to have these brought back so that they could make any other adjustments, but I asked to have these amendments made just to move forward, because I suspect that any amendments that they're going to look at making, staff's got to make those amendments and then bring them back in the November meeting to work through them. So.
Okay.
That was it.
Thank you.
And they should be in red, with those changes.
Can I ask a question? So on, sometimes we do require quite a few items to be completed, to have a complete packet before it's turned in.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have that list that we provide to them with all those details on it?
I'm working on it.
Okay,
I'm working on changing. There's some things that we're looking at changing. We're looking at making some amendments to our applications with site plans and then also checklists. And not only that, but trying to look at those building permit applications also with the checklist. Because right now, sometimes this has happened on occasion where somebody has submitted their site plan application along with their building permit application at the same time. And so trying to coordinate with Ed Pearson and Ed Bignon and Dave Reed, the fire marshal, to try to make sure that we're all on the same page so that like the building permit isn't proceeding without a finalized site plan approval. So we're actively looking at those things right now.
okay. I think that's super helpful to get those all in writing and have them available to present so that everyone knows what's going on and we don't have any delays.
Well, and the hope is to cut back on frustration on everybody's parts, because we can very easily say, look, you're missing X, Y, and Z, and instead of having the argument of, well, I wasn't told, or trying to, because they've been told, but the problem is with us not having it in writing or not having it documented in our files, it just creates frustration that we're hoping to be able to cut back on. The two Eds and Dave and Ryan Christensen and Garth and I sat down and met and trying to talk through some of these things so that we could come up with a better system.
Okay, excellent. Okay, well, I'll open it up to the council then for any questions.
I have one on the first red line section, like section 2. It's in item C.
Yes.
My only question is, why do we use the word secretary? They're supposed to report who they're going to be absent to the secretary, which is whom.
That'd be Robin.
So shouldn't that be more of the recorder, not the secretary?
It would be the deputy city recorder.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we all know who that is, but when we call him the secretary, that doesn't really delineate anybody in the office. And Robin's the one associated with him, or if they are telling the chair they're going to be absent. Secretary is also listed in the last one under the voting.
Emily, what is it best to just list it as the deputy city recorder?
Yeah, I would just put deputy recorder.
Okay. So, Councilmember Call, if you want, we could just replace secretary, everywhere it has secretary reference, put deputy recorder.
That'd be great. I just think it makes more sense. Clarify it.
And do you have the other place marked? You know,
It's in the last red line, section 7, item C, procedure voting.
Yep, it's right.
Well,
in there.
it's an agenda for meetings too in section B. If as part of the,
Yeah.
as part of the voting, you want to just, make.
I didn't really consider anything else because I knew you didn't want to, besides what the sections that you redlined, because the commission wants to talk about it again. So I didn't bring any of those things up, just those ones. So I noted the secretary in the procedure voting and that one at the beginning, but it would make sense throughout the whole thing. I just didn't go there because we weren't looking at the other sections.
If you want to just, whoever makes the motion, Just state that, making the motion to approve the red lines, but then also wherever there's a reference to secretary, to change it to deputy recorder. And then I can just do a word search on it.
I think that would be good. What other questions? You have other questions, Councilmember Call?
No, I was fine with these changes.
Okay. Any other council members' questions? Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
Move to adopt resolution 43-2024. Oops, sorry. 42-2024, amending the Planning Commission policies and procedures to include any references of the word secretary to be changed to deputy recorder.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the council on this? Okay, we'll do a roll call on this. Councilmember Morse?
Aye.
Councilmember Saunders, excuse me.
Aye.
Councilmember Call.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries on there. Thank you. Appreciate you going through that. And to our planning commission, we hope this helps.
I have to ask, did we do something with the audio? Because Carrie sounds a lot better than we have sounded in the past on the,
We did actually have a tech here today to try and fix another issue, so he probably got that as well.
She's been taking voice lessons too.
I mean,
Just got a new
usually
iPhone.
it seems like the person on Zoom's really loud, but seems
Yeah, that's my nature, so I'm working on that.
I mean, yeah, I thought it sounds way better. So.
Okay, we'll move on to item 9 on here was action on resolution 43-2024, authorizing the reduction of speed along 5100 West and the installation of the traffic control devices. This was a meeting that was called together with the mayor of Hooper, Mayor Bingham, her Public Works, our staff, our Public Works, to have a discussion about this, and it was really interesting and helpful, I think overall. But I just wanted to bring that up, and I appreciated being invited to that meeting and having the discussion. But I'll turn some time over to you if you have something to present on that.
Yeah, I would love to add to that. And this working group, and it was identified several enhancements that we could do to 5100 or 3300 South to improve safety along that corridor. And the first item specifically to bring to your attention is the reduction of speed limit on 5100, so it'll be consistent. Right now, there's different speed limits depending upon if you're in the unincorporated area of Weber County or if you're within city limits. And so what's being proposed is that it change consistently to 30 miles an hour. We know that we would need to work with the county on realizing that reduction in speed, and I do believe that the sheriff's office has made that contact and coordination. And so I would also note that these are items that we're talking about tonight. It's scheduled to be on Hooper's council meeting for their consideration and consent as well, which would be tomorrow night. But in principle, this is what we've thought might help make it a safer corridor. In addition to the reduction, it would be flashing lights within the school zone. So we'd establish a new school zone there at the intersection of 5100 West and 3575 South. It's a T intersection there. There is a crossing guard there. And so for that reason, it would qualify to create a school zone. There is a cost associated with that expense, which would be borne by both cities, and that cost would be, I believe our cost is the $8,200. And the other proposed enhancement would be pedestrian activated flashing lights at the crosswalk of 5100 West and 3300 South. We had advertised for a crossing guard at that location, but those attempts to recruit a crossing guard have been unsuccessful. And so it's proposed that we have pedestrian activated flashing lights located there. And again, this would need to be an expense that that the city would need to budget if approved.
Excellent, thank you for that breakdown on there too from your report. Any questions from the council?
So this resolution doesn't need to list that it's cost sharing. Is that going to be a separate own like interlocal agreement later? Because the resolution speaks to what's going to be done, but doesn't include that we will be cost sharing with Hooper.
Didn't we enter into an agreement already regarding?
We did enter into an interlocal agreement, and I think you bring up a great point, Carrie. So maybe that's a better way to formalize the arrangement. I think both entities are prepared to move forward with ordering it. There is a delay, as I believe was mentioned in the staff report. And so potentially if we want to formalize it in that manner by amending the interlocal agreement, we could do that. I think if you approved it tonight, we'd just move forward with ordering. And again, if we feel like a more formal approval is needed, we could amend the interlocal.
So with this amendment, we can move forward with this proposal, we can move forward with ordering it, but then you'd bring the cost back for amending the budget, right?
I think so. It might be helpful to look at the actual interlocal and make sure that it fits well within there. But I believe we talked about some in-kind sharing and sharing of resources. So potentially, that might be a good place to.
We did. I just didn't know if that included these specifics. And if Hooper's not going to talk about it till tomorrow, and then their council says, well, no, we think West Haven should pay for it. And, where are we at? And if they make that decision, are we willing to pay for all of it?
Yeah.
Well, I think in our meeting in general, it was implied and it just isn't in writing that I can see here. Unless we can go through, if we do approve this tonight, do we still need to go through that interlocal agreement to see if there's anything to change?
I would, because frankly, there might be something in there that already kind of covers some of this. We may just have to tweak it a little bit.
Do we need to approve this conditioned on that? Or?
Hold on.
I know while you're looking that up, I know West Haven is taking the lead on the ordering of the equipment on there. So, and then it was just discussed that cost sharing would be billed to the other city, if that makes any difference in how it's set up.
You could, so like number 1 and 2 on the second page of the resolution really don't have anything to do with, that. So you could condition 3 and 4 regarding pursuant to cost sharing agreements with Hooper. But I wasn't there with this discussion, so I don't know what exactly was. So I'd look to Sean for regarding that.
Yeah, I was just looking at the costs, and those are total costs that I list. So would be splitting those costs equally.
So it's not actually
It's
the
not.
8,000. Our portion would be 4 something.
That's how I understand it in looking at my notes. And so there is
Two costs, right? So there's the 7,000, whatever it is, and the 8,000.
and I think there would be an additional 7,000 because that's what's being proposed here is pedestrian activated flashing lights crossing 5100 west, but also crossing 3300 south because we don't have a crossing guard. And the reason why that's important is because kids that are walking along 5100 West, they'll go the shortest route possible, which is to cross at that location. We do have a crossing guard further to the east on 3300 South, but ultimately the kids before school, they will go to the playground and wait for school to start, and that is the most direct route. And so the school district did make that observation and suggestion that that was sort of the way that the kids traveled to school on a practical level. So I think there's an additional 7,000 there. I think what we discussed was trying to implement this as soon as possible. And because there's already a delay in ordering, if we waited to, in fact, Hooper was suggesting that we order it now, and I felt like we needed to get your formal direction on it. So all that's to say is they were pretty anxious to make these improvements. So I'm hoping that the Mayor Bingham can carry that through with her council and get them to again support this issue. But so I what I would prefer and recommend is you approve it, we order it, and then we amend the interlocal agreement. And we'll know before we order it that Hooper has agreed in principle, to make that partnership.
The interlocal agreement speaks to them providing a crossing guard. Like they're going to be responsible to pay for that crossing guard and for the construction of the path.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the only things that speaks to.
I think we need to dig into that a little bit more on that side of it. I think it would be good to get this started because we already know about what it's going to be, and we'll find out tomorrow night. But maybe that's something they can incorporate too into their resolution if they have time to do so, or if not, might be a little delayed on their part. But
So can we just approve it with condition on cost sharing and with Hooper, or how would we word that, I guess?
Well, I would suggest maybe doing that with number 3 and 4 under section 2, just because regardless of what Hooper does, you're going to want to lower the speed limit, aren't you? So those two don't really have anything to do with, using the city manager to request Weber County lowering it and you guys lowering it, on our side. So it would really be, wouldn't it be 3 and 4?
Right, yeah.
So we approved, and then condition on items 3 and 4 in section 2, conditioned on a cost-sharing agreement with Hooper City. Or something like that.
would that work?
Yeah, that would.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Councilmember Call, would that work for you?
Yeah, I don't want to slow it down. I know all these things need to happen. I just want to make sure that we're covered, as we share costs.
Yep. That
I
makes
think
sense.
it's wise.
Thanks for bringing that up too. All right. Well, if there's any other questions, I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make the attempt. I move to approve Resolution 43-2024, authorizing the reduction of speed along 5100 and the installation of traffic control devices with conditions on items 3 and 4 in section 2, with the condition that Hooper enters into a cost sharing with agreement.
Second.
Okay, well done. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the council on this item? We'll do a roll call on this. Councilmember Saunders,
Aye.
Councilmember Call,
Aye.
Councilmember Morse.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you for working on that, and hopefully we can get that taken care of and they'll approve it as well. All right, we'll move on to the next item on here, item 10. This is advice and consent of one Youth Council Advisor appointment submitted by Mayor Vanderwood to fill one position available due to the vacant term left by Alan Keyes. So this person is just a fantastic fit, I think, for this position for our youth council. We have some great people that have been working with our youth council and filling in the gaps, but we also haven't had a lot of meetings and things done. So I'm real excited. This person's going to jump up and get going on it and really make a big difference, I think, overall. I think, too, some of the changes that we're trying to make within the youth council and get it more organized is going to be helpful as well. And her name is Sarah Wynn, and her daughters currently are involved in youth council. And again, just I think she'll be a great leader and a great overall person to help us lead this to a new dimension and help West Haven out a lot. So that's through advice and consent of the council, that recommendation and that name came in. So I'd like to see if there's any questions or concerns, and if not, I'm open for a motion.
Didn't you want it to be a 3-year term limit for this too?
Yes.
So if you guys do opt to do that, you'll need to just include that in the motion.
Okay, thank you.
Just a little point, we're gonna then have to amend the ordinance. Because right now, the ordinance does not have a time limit. That's not saying you can't do it, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
for the future, I would recommend we,
Yeah, we have it listed in our committees under there for the times, but
this
we
one
can
doesn't.
review it and see. But yes, so yeah, and so the recommendation would be for the 3-year time period. So is the council, any questions?
I would make the motion, but I don't have the new agendas.
Oh, I'll show it to you.
I don't have it either, so I was like,
waiting for you.
I'm gonna wait for Nina to do that, and you're waiting for me.
All right. Move to give consent of one youth council advisor appointment submitted by Mayor Vanderwood to fill one position available due to the vacant term left by Alan Keys of a 3-year term to Sarah Wynn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this advice and consent appointment? Okay, we'll do a roll call on this. Councilmember Morse,
Aye.
Councilmember Call,
Aye.
Councilmember Saunders.
Aye.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Motion carries, and we'll work through some of those details as well. But thank you. I'm really glad she accepted and worked through this process as well. We'll move on to item 11, discussion. This is a continuation of any agenda item not on the previous discussed or otherwise completed at the 5 o'clock work session. Did we have anything we needed to discuss above and beyond?
We don't.
We all good? Okay, we'll move on to item 12 on here for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for being here and your time spent here.
Could be a record.
The adjournment was on my agenda.